This journey of faith begins from a Hindu heritage onto Satpanth, which combines Sufi ideas onto Ismaili, Nizari faith, and ultimately to the Jafri Mazhab. The Khojas come from the Luana caste, which is part of the Hindu social order of the commoners as it is understood within the caste system. And the word Khoja is a phonetic corruption of the Farsi word Khwaja given to us by Pir Sraddin. A Khoja label has no connection with Islam. A Khoja is born as a Khoja. It is not a religion or a sect to which one could be inducted. The conversion of the Khojas begins with the arrival of Pir Sraddin in Sindh, and he was responsible for the conversion of the Luanas to this hodgepodge religion called Satpanth. There are a number of myths about his origins, the most common consensus being that he was an emissary, a dai of the Nizari branch of the Ismaili sect. Some say that he was a Sufi teacher who had come from Iran. Whatever the case may be, it was Sraddin who convinced the Luhanas at that time that the Lord Vishnu, which they believed in, the 10th incarnation of Lord Vishnu, was Nauzubillah Hazrat Ali, and therefore he got them to convert from Satpanth, and then over a period of time he converted to the Ismaili and ultimately to the Ithnachari faith in the 19th century. The period between Sraddin to Aga Khan is shrouded in mystery. Suffice it to say that when Fateh Ali Shah dies in 1834, Hassan Ali Shah, who was to be the Aga Khan I, comes to India, and this is where the Khoja community gets more defined within the Indian subcontinent. In 1842, when the Aga Khan I arrives from Iran, he makes certain changes which created some turbulence in the community. There were court cases, there were Sunni Khojas who were killed, there were 3 who were actually injured, and a separate Jamaat was formed, which was the Sunni Jamaat of the Khojas, and this building is evidence of that particular group.
Here we talk about Islam introduced in India, but before Islam came to India, others also came. The Greeks came, and the Persians had come as well. So when they came, they normally came from northwest. They came, they introduced their culture, and that culture got immersed and dissolved into the subcontinent culture as well. Islam was different. You see, when Islam came, it came in 2 ways. First, it came as armies. When it came as armies, the first army was the Umayyads. Then you had the Turks. Then you had the Mughals. And then you had the Afghan warlords as well. When they came, they introduced Islam. Islam showed its real flexibility in that people who got converted were upright Muslims, and yet they held on to their heritage and their culture as well. Islam, I said that it came to India through peers and dais and missionaries. One of the dais, that is a very famous dai, his name is Pir Sadruddin al-Husseini. He came from Khorasan in Iran. He was instructed to come by the Ismaili Imam. See, today, the Ismaili Imam is number 49. His name is His Royal Highness Prince Karim Aga Khan number 4. In those days, 15th century, there was the Ismaili Imam. His instructions to Pir Sadruddin was to go to the subcontinent and convert those people to Ismailis. Pir Sadruddin went to India. He went to 2 or 3 places. He went to Kashmir, and he went to Punjab, and therefore if you go to those places, you will see Khojas who are Punjabis, and you'll see Khojas who are Kashmiris as well. But the community that we are really interested in is the Luana community in Sindh, Gujarat, Kathiawar. When Pir Sadruddin went there, he dissolved and he immersed into the Luana community. He got their confidence. He realized that these Luana communities, they believed in 3 gods, of which the 3rd one was Lord Vishnu. Now, Lord Vishnu came in incarnations. And you see some of the incarnations here. He came as a fish, he came here as a tortoise, he came as Rama, he came as Krishna, he came as Buddha. They were waiting for the 10th incarnation. So what Pir Sadruddin did was something you could call it brilliant. innovation, whatever you want to call it. Because he had their confidence, he said that you don't need to wait for the 10th incarnation. The 10th incarnation has already been born in the Middle East. His name is Hazrat Ali alayhi salam. Those people who accepted this are our forefathers. What he did was that he wrote ginans. Ginans are mystical hymns. And the famous one he wrote is the Das Avatar, the 10th incarnation. He gave these people who converted a new religion. It was a hybrid form of Islam, not Hinduism, something in between called Satpanth, Sirat al-Mustaqim, the straight path. He assembled these people and he wrote some of these ginans in what is called Khoj Ki script, which is a Sindhi script. And then he gave them a title. He said, look, you people, you are my people now. You are my converts. You are my honorable people. You are my Khwaja. And in time, that Khwaja got corrupted as we normally corrupt things to Khoja. Okay. History is pretty silent from the times of the early peers, Sadruddin and a few peers later, up to 1800, early 19th century. They had a bit of a mishmash religion. So for example, if they lived in a Shiite community, they would pray like the Shias. If they lived in a Sunni community, they would pray like the Sunnis. It was pretty much mishmash. People did whatever they wanted. There was no standardization there in those days. But then things changed. Things changed in the time of Aga Khan #1, Hassan Ali Shah. What he did, he's sometimes called, Hassan Ali Shah, the migrant in the politest form. He was based, like most Imams were based, in Persia. He had an issue with Fatih Ali Shah, the Ithnashari monarch. There were some problems. In the end, he had to leave to go to Afghanistan.
Imam number?
Aga Khan #1. Yeah, so that would be 46. Okay? So he had some difficulties. He had to go to Afghanistan where he joined the British. After the British had to leave Afghanistan because they were fighting the Russians, they were expelled. He joined the British. He went to Karachi. From Karachi, he went to Bombay. That route, from Karachi to Bombay, he met many settlements which were Khoja Ismailis. He met his Khojas. But when he settled in Bombay, because his movements are really from Iran to Afghanistan to Karachi, Karachi to Bombay, Bombay to Calcutta, Calcutta back to Bombay. Every time he wanted to go back to Iran, he was not allowed to go back. So he had no choice but to settle there. When he settled there, he stamped his authority on his Khojas, on his community. He wanted to take control of the way things are working. Quite naturally, as an imam, he wanted to take control. But some people, they did not accept. In fact, they say that there are 12 people who objected. A man called Habib Ibrahim. He was a very rich man, merchant. He could pay the taxes tenfold over. Ismaili community pay what is called descend, 10% tax. He refused to pay. He said, I do not recognize Aga Khan #1, and he is considered to be a peer, but I do not accept the fact that all the properties and all the programs should be controlled by him. These people stopped paying the taxes. That led to the 1866 Khoja case. If you do Google, just do Khoja case. It's sometimes called the Aga Khan case. Sometimes it is called the famous 1866 Khoja case. The question was, what these people were saying was that we are Sunnis. We are Khojas and we are Sunnis. Look, we are praying Sunni style. Our marriage ceremonies, Sunni Molana. Our death ceremonies, Sunni. Everything is Sunni. We are Sunnis. In fact, Pir Sadruddin, the one who converted, is a Sunni. And therefore, we do not recognize His Royal Highness Aga Khan #1 Hassan Ali Shah. They claim they were Sunnis. They opened, as it's here, you can see this. This is a Khoja Sunni Masjid entrance. So they became Sunnis. So if you go to Bombay, you will see the Sunni, Khoja Sunni community. Okay?
Are these what we call Brahmins?
No. They are Khojas. They were from Luana community. They became Satpanthis. Then they became Ismailis. And these people, when Aga Khan came to India and stamped his authority, they said, no, we do not accept. The court case took place. They lost. They said, look, we are Sunnis. We'll open a Sunni Jamaat Khana. They opened their own burial ground and they went separate.
700 years ago, on the plains of Western India, in a province called Sindh, lived the ancestors of the Khojas, mostly all practicing the Hindu religion. Hindus believe in a universal soul or a god called Brahman. Their god, their Brahman, takes on many forms that many Hindus worship. Hindus also believe in reincarnation, the belief that the soul is eternal and lives many lifetimes in one body after another. They believe the fate of the individual's next life is determined by how the previous life was lived. The three most important forms of Brahman are Brahma, known as the creator, Vishnu, known as the preserver, and Shiva, known as the destroyer. India followed a hierarchical system where people were classified according to their caste. Brahmins, the priestly class, Kshatriya, the soldier or ruling class, Vaishyas, the merchant class, and Shudras, the laboring class. In addition to these classes, there was an unclassified caste called the Dalits, or the untouchables. These weren't linked to any of the classes and were considered outcasts from society. The caste system was and continues to be a source of oppression in this society.
There are many sections of the Hindus, they felt oppressed. And now when they saw the Muslims, converts to Islam, praying together as equals, and the Islamic equality and humility attracted them. This has played a crucial role. Good thing about the Hindu society has been that they were always attracted towards spirituality. And the Sufi elements were very tolerant.
This will take us back to almost 650 years in Western India, the plains of Sindh, which is where the ancestors of the Khojas lived as Hindus. They were then converted by a Sufi, or some say that he was an Ismaili Dai, who came to the area and he studied the beliefs of the Hindu Lohanas. And their belief was in the 9 incarnations of the Hindu Lord Vishnu. And they were waiting for the 10th incarnation to come.
Hindus believe in reincarnation. And while they were prepared to accept the concept of Tawheed, Nabuwa, they were not prepared to let go the ideal of reincarnation, that you are born again and again. So the Sufis were very smart. They said, well, we can make compromise. Hazrat Ali is the 10th reincarnation of Vishnu Bhagwan.
When the ancestors of the Khojas met the Sufi Dais or missionaries from Iran, they were moved by the harmony and equality of Islam.
And then they followed this path called Satpanth for almost 500 to 600 years, which was an admixture of Sufism, Hinduism, and this is where the Ginans and the Ismaili literature comes from.
In Bombay, when Aga Khan was one of the princes in Iran, when he lost there in Iran and shifted to Bombay around 1840, for the first time the Aga Khan came as the head of the community, but he's not only an ordinary head, he's an imam. And he began to exert direct control over the whole community.
The Aga Khan, to exercise more control over the community, introduced the oath of allegiance. This is where the dispute started. Until then, those who were Sunnis could practice their Sunni belief and go to Jamaat Khana. Shias could do the same, and the Ismailis could. Now the Ismailis did not have the type of prayers which Sunni and Shia had. They had Pir Dadu, who came in 15th century, had introduced Ginan in Islamic Ismaili liturgy, which contains segments of dua from the Shia, it's Nashri dua. But it was deviating. So a court case came up in 1866, and the first group professing to be Sunni separated to form the Barbai Jamaat or the Sunni Jamaat. And under this court case, the Aga Khan in the oath of allegiance provided for that all the community assets would be not held in the name of the community or Jamaat, but in the name of the Aga Khan. So this was a bone of contention among the Khoja, that we have contributed towards this, so it should be held in the name of the community. And every Khoja has a right, regardless of his persuasion. But Aga Khan won the case, and the Jamaat Khana and the community assets were transferred in the name of the Aga Khan.
Ismailis used to go for ziyarat. They used to go to Karbala, they used to go to Najaf, but also then used to go to Iran to visit the Aga Khan. When they went to Karbala and so on, like my great-great-grandfather, and meets the local alim, who tells him that your religion is not very, very clean. Now you have a lot of other things which are not really Islamic. And it seems to have influenced him, from what we have been told within the family. That bothered my great-great-grandfather when he was told that these practices are not Islamic. For example, the Khojas believed in going for ziyarat, but not for Hajj. And Hajj is wajib.
Comes across an alim by the name of Mullah Qadir Hussain. And when Devji Jamal was asked to say why had he come to Karbala, Devji Jamal said that I had set out to go for Hajj, but I ended up in Karbala because someone told us that the thawab of one ziyarah is equivalent to 70 Hajj. And that is why we are here. And he was there with a group of people.
With Mullah Qadir Hussain, they went to see the Marja Taqlid in those days, Sheikh Zainul Abidin Mazindarani, and had conversations with him. They asked questions. They were concerned by the change taking place in the Khoja community after the arrival of the Aga Khan. And the 1866 case, and the greater leanings and control, and the customs and traditions undergoing change. One of the questions asked was the question of this reincarnation. He said, as Ismailis, we believe in incarnation, and Darajah of Imam Ali equating equal to the Holy Prophet or even going higher. So they were told that to think of that is haram. You can't do that.